Hey, all, it's 189. I feel the need to ask since we were talking about comments. And James, have you got a haircut because people complain about your hair? Like, Leo, you can't see him. James has this, like, have his head shaved off thing going on here. Like a... It looks like something a 15-year-old would do to me. Like, I'm a punk rocker now. What the hell, man?
This is gonna be fun to see.
It's like...
I've had my hair like this for a while. I just had it like this, so you guys didn't notice. And I just decided that I would just, because
I don't care, but everybody complained in the last video about, oh, blah 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 blah. What the hell are they gonna say at that? It's like I should like buzz cut my head or something. Just this is. I'm not bald yet. I'm just balding. It's like, anyways, what the hell do we want to start on? That's like, I don't know. That's,
comments first?
I guess, sure, why not?
Already.
They're like forever old at this point. I'm not sure any of them apply anymore. It's like,
Okay, whatever.
this is typical Mac fanboy. I should just download iTunes. What was it? You could just download iTunes. No, I can't. Apple is adamant about that not working on Linux. Every time Linux makes it work, Apple updates it to break it. I can't just... He forgot to turn his IRC on to make his school happy.
Does that mean we lost James?
Oh, I heard dung dung, and I'm hearing James McCain, and I'm hearing hold on while trying to get the call back, which means he did not turn an idle on, and his school's internet kicked him off. Can you see him?
We should restart then.
Can you see him in the chat?
No, he just went offline.
He just went offline.
Skype's using WebM for their new beta.
So start using the VP8 codec now and stuff. That'll be good.
Yeah. That's what I meant. I don't know if they're using Vorbis with it, but they're using VP8 for their video.
That'll be useful.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's back online.
Prodigal son.
Isn't Skype just fun? It's...
We gotta find something better.
Welcome back. You didn't turn your IRC thing on to have an idle, did you?
I did.
Oh, I guess that
it didn't work.
I guess that doesn't fix it then. That's like
I guess we were lucky last time. I'm actually using a different computer right now.
I think it had more to do with the fact that it was later at night. So there were probably less people on the network.
Yeah, it might be my computer. I don't know, because it doesn't have a problem on any other Wi-Fi network, but it does on the schools. And the computer I'm using right now doesn't seem to have a problem, or does it? Okay, well, we'll see. So.
Okay. The dreaded "we'll see" test. I love that test.
Yeah, have to do it. It's the way things are.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Every so often we just get what can only be described as a Mac troll. Because you're talking about the comments. It's just, they come in and they bash on us because, well, we have 3 people here that don't like Mac. It's like By the way, before we get too into this, there are two people who would like to join us, which I am trying to get straightened out. One of them is very much a Windows person, and one of them is... That is a loud keyboard. It's like...
Did my video just go out? Okay.
No, we can hear and see every bit of that. It's like... and one of them is a Apple person, but it's like... I don't know if we're going to have to create a whole nother show on that, or if we're going to be able to figure out a way to add a fourth into this. This software is problematic to have more than 3 people. It just is. And I can't afford to go buy something like a TriCaster yet. So, yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know what their schedules are like. So that's just something. I'm just saying that here because I don't want those people to think I've forgotten about them. I've had a few weeks from hell, and I haven't had time to really reply to very much stuff at all. I barely had time to pay attention to any comments. I mean, other than this person being a troll here, is there... I mean, they're being a troll. Is there anything really here they say that's too ridiculous? I mean, besides insisting all us Linux users use iTunes, and I'm like, I would actually buy stuff from iTunes if Steve Jobs didn't banish my money from it. It's like, I would. I'd probably spend $2,000 a year because I like BBC stuff. I like Top Gear, not the god-awful American version they're going to make. I like the British version. I like Jeremy Clarkson and Richard Hammond and Captain Slow, also known as James May.
Well, I personally don't think I would use iTunes itself, but I might, if they opened up the API for buying it and it could be integrated into other media players, then I would totally buy it.
I very much like Armach as my music player. I much prefer that, and I would always prefer that to iTunes as my music player. But if Steve Jobs is going to insist that the only way I can buy anything from the Apple Marketplace is to install iTunes on my computer, I would be willing to install iTunes on my Linux box if Steve Jobs didn't have a diametric problem with it. I like iPods, the basic iPod. Not the... I don't like the touch or the iPhones. I don't like the iOS lockdown. But the basic old iPod video, it's a good media player, and I would use it. But they keep trying to break its compatibility and force it to be dependent on iTunes. Granted, it largely works on Linux now at this point, unless Steve Jobs wakes up in the middle of the night and decides, I must try and break it again and force everybody to update with their new version of iTunes. But aside from that, no. I mean, what else did they say here? OS X is much simpler. That's a preference.
At the very end, they said something about Sony should stop wasting their money on Linux and spend it all on the PlayStation.
Yeah, should stop wasting their money on technology. They didn't say Linux, they said on technology in general. Basically pointing out that Sony has no business being in the computer business. You know what's so funny about that statement?
That's a PlayStation computer.
Well, it's not just that. It's a few years ago, back in I think it was 2004, Sony made a computer that's very reminiscent of the future of the Mac, also known as the MacBook Air. I mean, it literally looks identical. It's almost the exact same machine with the exception of the flash memory instead of a hard drive. The form factor is literally identical. And Sony
pictures of that started floating around.
And Sony could not sell this thing because of the cost. It's like, honestly, the big problem with Sony in the computer business is they're a PC version of Apple. They charge a shitload for the Sony brand in the same way Apple charges a shitload for the Mac brand. So I'm like, that's the high pot me kettle if ever there was one. A Mac user being mad at Sony. I'm like, what? They're your evil PC twin. What the fuck?
Correct me if I'm wrong about the PlayStation, but doesn't the default PlayStation OS have an embedded Linux kernel?
You know, I didn't keep up enough with the PlayStation actually knowing that. I know Sony has a problem with you installing a Linux build of your own on the PlayStation.
Well, yeah, separate
Yeah.
separate Linux OSs. Like Yellow Dog, I think, was the popular one for PlayStation. But
Yeah. But you know, honestly, the PlayStation's kind of missed its build right now. I mean, it's an Xbox world right now in the consoles. It just is. We is
What? You said it's an Xbox thing on the console?
in the console world. It's Xbox is largely the dominant system right now.
Isn't Wii selling more than the Xbox?
I will say it depends on the type of gaming you're doing. I was going to say, but the Wii is depending
the Wii
on
is seen as a novelty console.
say what.
The Wii is seen kind of as a novelty console. Not
Yeah,
something that serious gamers go for. And it's
that's the thing. It's like, although honestly, at the point I am now in my gaming career, and if I had kids right now, I would rather they want a Wii than an Xbox, just because of the old Nintendo library and shit.
What I was trying to say before, though, is that Nintendo isn't. They don't aim for the hardcore gamers.
No. Well,
it's more of a casual console.
Nintendo is what they've always been. Nintendo is the 3 to 10-year-olds, and then you grow out of that phase, and then in your late teens and 20s, you become nostalgic for it. But it's like the hardcore gamer demographic is, you know, more the other thing. And like, and right now, whether we love or hate Microsoft, we have to admit they have at least done that right. And the Xbox did serve its need, which was to push up DirectX and do all of that. Right now, Sony is just kind of in limbo. That may change with the PS4 and the Xbox. I don't know what it would be after 360. You know, what is it, the 920 now? That's like
I thought that
Xbox brand, kind of like Nintendo did after the Super NES.
PlayStation and Xbox sales were actually pretty close.
They're close, but it's one of those. It's PlayStation costs more, or can, depending on what you're doing. It's a divide on some things, and there aren't really a good core group of in this console run where it's like name me a must-have game that is PlayStation only.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
And then name me a must-have game that is Xbox 360 only.
Which you could name a lot.
Yeah, and so it's like, which one are you gonna buy if you can only afford one in your house? Now we all grew up with that kid. We all knew that kid that had every single system and everything else. But most households pick the one system. That's like, and that's the one they're gonna go with, and unless something's changed dramatically since I was a teenager. That's like, so. I'm not saying the PlayStation's a bad system. I'm just saying it's not the on-top system right now. It isn't. It's, and I'm not saying it's bad. It's like, and you know, this whole Kinect thing might change that. I don't know. It's like you have the Kinect. I have half a mind to go out and buy an Xbox 360 and set the camera here on top of the TV and do the stupid Kinect games and call it, "You don't look as cool as you think you are." He's like, show what you actually look like doing this. It's like, I see people doing this, and they are oblivious to how stupid they look.
It's Microsoft. They don't care.
Yeah, I know, but it's impossible to use the Kinect without looking like a spazoid. It's just not possible. You don't look as, oh dear God, using those things for the PlayStation. I forget what they're called.
The Move?
Yeah, it's like you at least, you don't look like a possessed rag doll doing those things. Anyways, getting on to topics at hand, unless we want to keep going on about things that I don't think any of us really have a diametric interest in.
I'm good.